The topic is your parents. It's such an issue through all of history. The child-parent relationship is usually emotionally challenging. That doesn't mean bad, but it's very, very rarely a smooth journey. So I want to address that subject from my favorite source of how to live a life, the 10 Commandments. Honor your father and your mother. And it's really helpful, and I'm going to tell you why. So listen to this. There's a commandment to love your neighbor. You know, love your neighbor as yourself. There's a biblical commandment to love the stranger. There's a biblical commandment to love God. And for most people, or many people at least, I don't know most, thank God. I think what God is interested in, and yes, I think he's the source of the 10 Commandments, is how you behave toward your parents, not how you feel. How you feel about your parents is between you and your parent, or between you and yourself, or between you and your shrink, your psychoanalyst or psychotherapist, between you and your best friend, between you and your spouse, but not between you and God. You are allowed, as it were, not to like them, not to love them. That's not the issue. The issue is to honor them. So let's say you don't love them, okay, or even dislike them. You still have to honor them because they're not just another person. If you dislike your neighbor, there's no commandment to honor them. By the way, there's no commandment to honor anyone other than parents. It's fascinating. It's reserved for parents. There is a complete breakdown, almost complete breakdown of that commandment in our society. And it's partially parents' fault, by the way, because they took their role lightly. But in America for generations now, since World War II basically, parents have wanted to be their kids' pals, not their parents. Their biggest yearning was that their kid loved them. Not a good idea. Your biggest yearning is that you act honorably and then make it easy for them to honor you. If your aim is always to be loved by your child, you will be a lousy parent because you won't do what it takes to make a good person out of your child, which may often involve your not being liked at that time. And by the way, there is actually a law that you should fear your mother and father. Mother came first there. Father came first in the 10 Commandments to show that they're equally important parents. Why is the honoring of parents so important? Honoring of parents is a conduit to the honoring of God. If you learn to honor the parent on earth, you will ultimately be much more capable of honoring the parent in heaven. But interestingly, honor your father and mother is with the listing of the tablet of laws between man and God. The first 4 are about laws between man and God, and the last 6 are between humans and humans. Don't murder, don't commit adultery, don't steal, don't bear false witness, don't testify to lies, and don't covet what your neighbor owns. It's the vehicle to God, the honoring of parents. And it's also the only one of the 10 Commandments that promises a reward on earth so that your days are long in the land that I give you. In other words, civilization depends on parents being honored. It is absolutely true. Here's a proof. Every tyranny, every totalitarian regime undermines parental authority. The Nazis and the communists had a big effort to have children honor the regime or the party rather than the parent. Both did that. Your obligation is to the state or the party or the ideology, not to your parents. That's why I'm very worried about the undermining of parental authority in America. It can only mean that those who are doing it are dangerous. There is no other explanation. That's why this is such a big deal, the parent issue.